Mm. All right, top of the morning to you guys. Looks like it's just you and I again, CJ. How's that appointment coming along?
Hey, Jeff. Going along good, man. I'm getting ready right now. I've already did the comps. Got the paperwork ready for signatures. So yeah,
I love it.
yeah, we should be able to get this one.
I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you. And maybe the other group, they'll jump in shortly.
Yeah, we'll wait a couple more minutes.
Let, let me tell you what I find myself doing, right? I think it's more of a
Mm-hmm.
psychological thing, man. So so when I'm calling the houses, like any homes that were listed for like 600, let, let's say 600 on down.
Mm-hmm.
Man, everything just flows smoothly, no issues. But as soon as I start to go up to like 900 in the million, all of a sudden, it's like I get
That's a
intimidated.
mindset. That's a mindset thing.
It's like, I don't know, man. Like I'm still trying to break that, but I can't for some reason.
Yeah. Um, it's a mindset thing. You just gotta have a right mindset and and know that you're worthy. Know that you're worthy of it. Know that you're deserving of it. Know that they're waiting on you. They're looking for you. They want to work with you. They haven't worked with anybody else because they haven't gotten the call from you, and that the deals are all the same. The 200, the 2 million, the 20 million, they're all the same. They're regular people, working class individuals that have goals, and your goal is to get them to the finish line. So I think once you start believing that and you start affirming it, I think you're one step closer to where you want to be. So operate in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Operate in that. Let's let's get started. Hey Nicola. All right, so we're
Hey,
winding
Jeff.
down. We are winding down as we get to our final set of trainings before the end of the year and we roll into 2026. We're excited what we have so far. We're excited for what we have so far. We are going to be doing some changes as well. We're going to be doing some changes with the training that we're doing with you guys and really ensuring that we help you guys get to the next level. You know, what they say is year one is the trial, and that was year one. You guys were the uh, the guinea pigs, you know. But what we're creating is we're creating a system where you're able to input your numbers each and every single day into the system. And what it's going to do, it's going to track, are you on track? Are you below? Are you in the reds? Are you in the greens? Are you in the yellows? So we actually have someone that's beta testing it right now. They're plugging in their daily numbers, they're plugging in their goals, their income, stuff like that. And what's going to happen is before we go over to Shark Tank and sell it, we want to make sure you guys have access to it. So excited about that. And with that being said, let's go and get started for today. So our topic for today is financial planning, budgeting, and diversifying our income in the space of real estate. So a lot of times we find ourselves being very transactional. Okay, we find ourselves missing out on opportunities out there. We find ourselves saying that, hey, I got the buyer for this, I got the buyer for that. But what about if we became the buyer? What about if we found opportunities that made sense? What about if we partnered up with friends and families and owned the duplexes and owned the apartment buildings and stuff like that? So I want you guys to think from a greater scale. And this is why we're the top producer group right here, because we've already done the minute stuff. We've already done the little stuff. Our conversations are bigger and better. And that's maybe why I need to start letting you guys know that I got to start affirming it to you guys. Like, for example, CJ was talking about $1 million deals earlier. There's a reason why you're in the top producer category. There's a reason why you're a mover and a shaker, is because you've done the work, you've been worthy of it, and now it's time for you to get to the next level. And what's the next level? The next level is really budgeting. A lot of times we have spent on talking to you guys about being the CFO of your real estate business, being the chief financial officer of your real estate business, because a lot of times we get a commission check and we really don't know where it goes. We really don't know what we spent it on. We really don't know what to put it in. Should we put it into marketing? Should we put it into running ads? Should we put it into postcards? Should we put it into getting a watch, getting a car? What should we put it into? And there's time for everything. So today's breakdown is going to be financial planning fundamentals, budgeting for realtors, funding future deals, and building multiple streams of income. Your goal is to always understand what's next, what's after real estate. I always tell people I'm not turned on by the person that's 60, the person that's 70, the person that's 80, that's running around getting transactions. I can also share this story with you guys. I'm on the phone with a lady. She's probably in her 60s or 70s years old. And we're on the phone on a Saturday afternoon. And she's like, hold on a second. And I get back on the phone and she's like, oh, I'm negotiating a deal for 800,000 and blase, blase, blase. And I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I like that did not turn me on. It didn't turn me on that you were negotiating a deal for 800,000. You did not need to tell me the price point because I really didn't care. And honestly, I'm quite turned off that it's Saturday afternoon and you're negotiating a deal. You know what I mean? So that means you have no boundaries to your life, you have no boundaries to your schedule, and you're stuck in the domain things of real estate. So what we need to do is we need to talk about what is our 5 year plan? What is our 10 year plan? What's our 20 year plan? For myself, I had always told people at the age of 40, I would retire out of real estate. I've always said this. I said this starting in 2016. I said this in 2014. I said this in 2020. But then as I got closer to almost being 40, which is so many years away, by the way, I still said, I can't retire. Like, it's impossible. Like, what am I going to do? Like, it's the cost of living versus real estate. But then I found that I have a new passion now. And for those of you guys that know, I'm actually in law school. I'm actually in school. So, and God will create the opportunities for you once you open. That's why they say the tongue is powerful, and from the mouth I speak, it so it shall it be. You know what I mean? And say stuff like that. So what it was doing was it was preparing me for the age of 40 to transition into a new career. Okay, transition into another multiple stream of income, transition into something that's new. So what does it look like for you? Once I've done this for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, maybe your goal is to do this for 40 years. Once I've done that, what is next? And that's the conversation that we really need to talk to ourselves, because a lot of times we think that we make a lot of money and we can go spend it. No, the money's for retirement, it's for stocks, it's for taxes, it's for IRAs, it's for 401ks, it's for health insurance, it's for life insurance, it's for gold, it's for buying buildings, buying land, buying apartments, buying houses, doing flips. That's what the money's for. Maybe taking care of your family. Lastly, taking care of your family. Okay, that's the last thing that's for. You know what I mean? So I want each and every single person to leave here and say, man, I just created a $20,000 commission check. What do I do next? Man, I just created a $500 commission check. What do I do next? Man, I just did my first $1 million deal. What do I do next? You know what I mean? So I hope that everyone leaves here and drops it down, takes the time and say, what is my 5 year plan? What does that look like? In 5 years from now, I want to be selling houses over 600,000. In 5 years from now, I don't want to be working with buyers. In 5 years from now, I want to be a coach or mentor. In 5 years from now, I want to work only New York, Miami Beach. I've been quite excited, you guys. Like things just fall into place just like that. Okay. In 2018, I said that I no longer wanted to work in a space of being with buyers. I wanted to really funnel down the buyers to my team and really focus on listings. It took me a little bit longer to get there, but I'm so excited and I'm so grateful that right now I'm in that space. I'm in the space of working with sellers. I'm not working with buyers. I don't show property. I don't look at houses when it comes to buyers. And honestly, my Saturdays and Sundays are for whatever I want to do with them. If I want to host an open house on my listing, I have the freedom to do that. But also, I see that this is the lifestyle that I created. I created the listings, you know, we created the listings, 18 active right now, 10 pending, you know, we created the listings, but we have tons of coming soon on the market as well. We created the listings so that we don't have to work with buyers. So what does your 3 year look like? What does your 5 year look like? And then what does your 10 year look like, or your 20 year? And the way time is moving so much faster now, you maybe want to talk about your 2 years. What does my next 24 months of real estate look like? I may not want to do single family anymore. I may want to do condoms. I may want to do suburbs. I may want to do, like start talking to yourself, because once you start talking to yourself, you start activating it subconsciously into your mind and you start doing those stuff. Okay. So today will be documented November 18th at 11:11, which is good luck, that 2025, that someone in this room kind of gets nervous when they speak to luxury sellers. They just like, they get freaked out. They don't know what to say. The words are just jumbled up. They don't feel comfortable. But I know that if they continue to speak to themselves in a certain type of way, if they continue to go and target themselves, they continue to put themselves in the environment, they continue to learn the lingo, they continue to be comfortable with the product 24 months from now, 12 months from now, 6 months from now, 3 years from now, it's going to be so easy and so smooth. It's going to be like butter. Okay. But finding your future self, speaking to your future self, and letting your future self know that, hey, this is who I'm going to be. This is who I'm working towards. You know what I mean? I posted this the other day on Instagram. My team did, and if you look back at this is me, y'all. This is me when I got into real estate in 2009 in the blue shirt. That's me in 2009 in real estate. Okay. I don't know why I'm one shorter than the other. It's the whole AI thing, but that's me. So what would I have told myself in 2009? What did I tell myself in 2012? What have I told myself in 2015, 2016, 2020, 2022, 2024, 2025? What do you tell yourself? And after you tell yourself something, you got to go do the work. You got to go do the work so that when you look back and you say, man, I may have fallen short on this, because you are going to fall short. We're all going to fall short something. You're grateful for the ways that you have gotten. I was with my former broker. Unfortunately, we had ended up going to a funeral, and I was with the former broker, and he was just talking about my numbers and how well I've done. And, even with a downturn market, I still, I'm doing okay compared to the average agent that's out there. And I said, no, not really. I really wish that I was here. I was there. And he said, it's always been you. He said, it's always been you. Trying to share my screen. He says, you always put so much more pressure on yourself than what you actually do. And I said, yeah, I guess so. But we're not happy. We're pissed off. We're tired. We're annoyed. And we got to get to the next level. Hence the video that I posted again this morning. And I want to take a moment and listen to this. And that's really the model. That's really the model that you gotta have. You gotta have the model of, man, my goals are obtainable, my goals are reachable, my goals, there is no limit to where my goals are, you know? So let's dive in for today. Any comments or questions about that so far? Any moment of vulnerability from anyone right now that just says, man, you're exactly right, or I've been facing this identity crisis that I'm battling with myself, maybe? Did someone want to say something?
All of that. Yes. All of what
Love
you
it.
just said.
Love it, Kim. Love it, Kim. All right. So the Realtor Budgeting Tracker. Okay. For those of you guys have may have received the 2026 business planner from me already. If you hadn't have a time to look at it, pull that out. Pull that out. Take a look at it. See where it talks about spiritually, financially, emotionally, physically, business wise, and personally. Look into that, because everything's intertwined. Okay. When I speak spiritually, I don't speak like Jesus, God, the Alpha, the Omega. I don't speak like that. Spiritually is whatever spirit you lean on to. And some of us lead on to the Holy Spirit, some of us lead on to God, some of us lead on to, the ancestors, some of us lead on to our eternal spirits, whatever spirit that is. So when you see people say that, they don't necessarily mean, um, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, Mary, whatever it is, you know what I mean? It's more of who do you speak to? And sometimes you speak to yourself and your Holy Spirit is yourself, you know what I mean? So if you see that, you're probably asking yourself, man, do I need to get closer to the word? And sometimes the word is biblically, sometimes the word is like your words, your affirmations is scriptures. For we say we shall follow the word because the word will lead us to God, but not necessarily. Your affirmations, your goals, your tools, your learning, your coaching, your opportunities is what is like your Bible. You know what I mean? So so definitely want to take a moment to review that and say, man, how do I turn my affirmations into actual words and things that I do each and every single day? And then how do I work on my personal and my business? Because if one link is missing, trust and believe the other links are not aligned. Think about a train track. If a train is coming down, right, and it veers off, okay, because the track is kind of messed up or it's cut off or it's disconnected somewhere, it's going to fall off. So you got to truly be aligned in all spaces, and that's emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, and I forgot what the fifth one is, but y'all follow, okay? So take a look at that, spend some time with that, because if you really spend time with that and you really print it out and you go through it, that's going to be your Bible. That's going to be your scriptures. That's going to be the thing that keeps you going when you say, man, how much money did I make this year? How much money do I need to make next year? Am I on target? Am I on my goals? Did I fall short? Was I supposed to lose 10 pounds? Was I supposed to gain muscle? Was I supposed to gain mass? Was I supposed to gain fat? You know what I mean? Was I supposed to buy a building? Was I supposed to invest into my students? Was I supposed to go to counseling? Was I supposed to, whatever it is that I was supposed to do? Okay. So with doing that, you now come into your budgeting of your business. So let's say, for example, John closes the deal, he makes $20,000, but guess what? That's the only deal that he makes this month. So John has $20,000. Okay, we need to track every dollar, and then after we track every dollar, we now need to put it into the buckets. The buckets are going to be our business buckets, our personal buckets, and our savings buckets. Okay. And we spoke about this a little bit earlier this year, but now what we have, ladies and gentlemen, if we have a new bucket, this new bucket is going to be our investment bucket. Okay. And sometimes your investment bucket is probably $2, $3, $4. I have a Roth and I have a 401k that I pay into every single week. And today I saw the thing come through my bank account and I just forgot that it was activated. And I was like, what is this? And then I dropped it into ChatGPT and ChatGPT told me that it was Fidelity. And I thought that it was Fidelity, but I wasn't really sure because it came in as I don't remember. but it came in as something, and I was like, what is this? So it's Fidelity. So it's now we have the investment bucket, okay? And what I want each and every single person here is start that investment bucket. Okay. Start that investment bucket where you're getting your commission checks and you're like, hey, I'm going to allocate $20 to it. I'm going to allocate $50 to it. I'm going to allocate $100 to it. And maybe you want to name that, excuse me, maybe you want to name that investment bucket, my bucket to purchase a piece of land. Maybe you want to name that bucket, my bucket to purchase my first apartment complex or building or unit. Or maybe you want to name that my investment bucket to purchase my first fix and flip or my first fix and hold. You know what I mean? But get that investment bucket because you're going to be so proud of yourself. I saw an article a few weeks ago, not even a few weeks ago, a few months ago, where it said like five guys, I don't know if you guys saw it, five guys all put $50 into an account for like 5 years. And then later on, it became like $1 million. Little did they know. You know what I mean? So don't just take your commission checks and put it into the business and then put it into the taxes and then put it into the personal. Create that investment bucket right now because based on where you want to go, because let's say, for example, you tap into an FHA opportunity, you tap into a DSCR opportunity, you find a cash opportunity, or maybe you say, hey, I'm going to go invest in Dubai. I'm going to go invest in Canada. I'm going to go invest in Dominican Republic. I'm going to go invest in Africa, or maybe I'm going to just go invest somewhere here. As we do understand, ladies and gentlemen, South Florida's real estate is at its high, but there's so many other states that we can invest in and make a great return. We got Ohio, we got Chicago, okay? We got North Carolina, South Carolina, areas that are still appreciating. We got Texas, you know. And let's say, for example, I did this. I'd go to ChatGPT, for example. What states are appreciating in real estate as we speak, and I can invest into as a Florida resident. So, and then maybe that's where we need to go. Where's that place that we desire to retire in? Man, I live in Florida right now, but Florida is not the place I want to retire. I want to retire in California. I want to retire in New Mexico. I want to retire in I don't know, Alabama. Where is that place that you want to retire? And maybe that's the place that you start to get that first investment opportunity at. You know what I mean? So start looking for those type of opportunities. And maybe what you want to do is you want to go get yourself a real estate broker over there. You want to start learning the market over there. You want to start, and maybe you're starting with a piece of land that you own there. I have a customer of mine. She owns 5 pieces of land in Cape Coral. When did she buy them? She bought them in the early 90s and 80s when Cape Coral was not even Cape Coral. She bought some for 500. She bought some for 2,000. She bought some for 10,000. And now those lots are worth $50,000 to $100,000. Little did we know. So do you have that? Do you have an opportunity that did we miss out on something like that just went past our way? We just got that listing for $14,000 piece of land in Port St. Lucie and we sold it and we should have kept it for ourselves. You know what I mean? Start thinking of those opportunities, okay? It says the Midwest. I'm going to continue to let this load while we move on, okay? Why financial planning matters, stability in an unpredictable market. Yes, so as you guys know, real estate has been at its worst right now. I literally had a lender friend of mine say that if they did not have the investments that they had, they don't know how they would survive this market that we're in right now. Well, we heard just yesterday, one of our colleagues has 6 buyers that just won't pull the trigger, okay? So lenders are hurting just as realtors are hurting, okay? So do I have an opportunity to stabilize my income where if I don't sell another house ever again, I'll be okay? And we know some people that are like that, okay? Or are we going to create some long-term wealth creations, or are we going to continue working? Nobody wants to work. I don't want to see any of us 50, 60, 70, 80 years old running around getting deals. It's not the lifestyle of the American dream. Okay. Okay. And how do we do that? We do that right now by fixing it right now. Okay. We fixing it right now. And these are the conversations that our companies did not have. These are the conversations that our brokers did not have. This is not the conversation. Okay. I told my broker, I shared this with you guys. I said when I first got into real estate, I got into tax debt at just making pennies, making like $70,000 a year, and I was in tax debt for like $30,000. It just wasn't making sense, and I just avoided it. And I always told the former brokerage that I was with, if you would have shown us what to do with our paychecks, I think that's one of the one tools that you guys miss, and we don't speak about it much. Regardless of age, regardless if I was 19, 20, regardless if I was 40, 50, I know 40, 50 people that are like dealing with issues. Their homes are in foreclosure right now. You know what I mean? So these type of conversations are the conversations that we need to have with ourselves here, but we also need to have it with our friends. Okay. So we kind of spoke about this once before, but your business operations, how are your business operations? So I get one commission check at $20,000. So let's pull our whiteboard out. Every time I get on this place, this thing looks new and different. I just don't know why. Where's the freaking whiteboard? Where is the whiteboard? Where are you? Here you go. All right, so $20,000 commission checks. Why do I keep using the number 20,000? The reason I keep using 20,000 because I think that's real money. Anything less than that is like, let's just put the gas in your car, you know? All right, so according to $20,000, it says 40% must be business. Okay, so 40% must be business. It says 30% taxes. If this is the formula you want to use, you know, you can use a different formula depending on what tax bracket you're in. 20% for savings. I'm gonna switch this over to a keyboard. And then 10% for training, you know, growth, education, back into your business, that type of stuff. All right, so we got a $20,000 check. Uh, uh, any questions so far? Here we go. So we got a $20,000 check, okay? So at $20,000, 40%, 8K is going to go to running our business, okay? 20,000 times 30% is 20,000 times minus 8K, minus 8K. We got 16,000 left, so 16,000 times 30% is 4,800. Is going to go to our savings. Then 20,000, take away 8,000, take away 4,800, 7,200. Okay. What's the next one? Our savings? Yep. So 1,400 goes to our savings. What was the first one then? Oh, taxes. Yes, taxes. Okay. And then 10% for growth. 20,000. Take away 8,000. Take away 4,800. Take away 1,400. Okay. Okay. So 5,800. Okay. Goes back into marketing, running the business, and etc. So 5,800, 1,400, 4,800, 8,000, 20,000. Perfect. And that's the breakdown right there. Okay. Or whatever your formula breakdown is, identify what that is, but understand. So now what we got to do is we have to say we need a portion for investment now. So how much is that? Is that going to be 5%, 5%, 10%, 2%? Okay. And then create those buckets. You can go to the bank and you can create as many accounts as you like. Okay. You may want to get those accounts that don't have those monthly fees. You may want to get those accounts that have no fees as well. I mean, those banks that have no fees as well, so that you can run and operate your business. Okay. So what I would look into is I'd look into banks that operate with people that are Latin, people that are color, small business owners, banks that have good CD opportunities, have good return opportunities, have credit card opportunities as well. I would look into those type of banks that I want to partner up with because I can run my business. So now I know that I have a $20,000 check, and this is the breakdown of what the $20,000 check looks like. Okay. And then now when I get paid, I can easily just transfer. I just transfer. Okay. And now I know that, wow, I don't have really $20,000. By the time I'm done with everything, I got like $5,000 to my name. This is all I have to run my business. And wow, I don't know when my next commission check is coming. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know when it is. So now I have to now be strategic with what I do. Okay. Any questions so far? Don't make me feel like I'm speaking to myself today. Okay. So now how can I get these loans? I can get these loans through traditional financing, FHA, VA, conventional, USDA. I could use private, I can use hard money. So what do I need to do? I need to start creating my pool. I need to start creating my pool of who my hard money lenders are. If you need some, I can definitely refer you some, but you want to start interviewing hard money lenders because every hard money lender doesn't work for every situation. Some hard money lenders rent with a prepayment penalty. Some hard money lenders rent with 100K minimum. Some hard money lenders do any loan. Some hard money lenders do commercial loans. Find out who those hard money loan or private money loan opportunities are, okay? Now I need to start identifying who are my partnerships going to be. Man, I am dying to partner up with CJ to do an investment opportunity. Man, I'm dying to partner up with my mother to do an investment opportunity. Man, I'm dying to create this girls foundation or this guys foundation or this West Palm Beach foundation. You know what I mean? And we're creating a fund and we're all working together. Okay. And and now I'm drawing out the blueprints of strategically getting the plan in order. Who are my partners going to be? Because honestly, you can do a lot more with a team. So let's say, for example, building 600,000. I don't have 600,000, but it's cash only because the roof's falling apart. The hard money lender doesn't want to lend it because the return is just so low. But guess what? I have 300,000. So let me go find 5 people that have 50,000 each, or 3 people that have $150,000 each. You understand what I mean? And now we can go ahead and we can do the rehab. We can buy the property. We can do what we need to do. Okay. And sometimes you need to do that. You need to do that before you're able to hold it on your own. Okay. And you'll notice that a lot of people that own tons of properties, do tons of fix and flips, like a lot, they typically have business partners. Okay. So understanding leveraging, okay, understanding that you are going to make mistakes in investments, rather it be gold, stock, crypto, real estate. There are going to be some investment errors because it just happens. We underestimate, we over improve. Sometimes we think the market's going to go one way, it goes another way. It is going to happen, okay, but that's the cost of being an investor. Okay, you're going to think that you're going to make $100,000 on this flip. By the time you do the appraisal, you pay the agent, you got days on market, you got a sewage issue that you didn't know about. You're now getting $70,000. It happens, okay? But at the end of the day, you're still in your purpose, and that's really what it's about. You're in your purpose. You're taking your wins with your losses, and you're moving forward, okay? So understanding good leverage versus bad leverage, like, is this an opportunity that I'm going to take as real estate professionals? The reason they say we need to disclose and we need to use the AA addendum when it comes to the state of Florida is because they believe that as realtors, we're better educated when it comes to numbers, when it comes to fix and flip, when it comes to return, when it comes to leveraging of properties and stuff like that. So they believe that we're better educated. So as the realtors, we have to use our knowledge to say, is this a good return? Okay. When I talk to people right now, the market is just so tough right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's so tough for people to get good returns on multifamilies or even rentals on single family homes. But I think honestly, if you're netting $300, which is the average now you'll see, you're in a good space. Because what you're hoping for is you're hoping for not just the money that I'm making right now, but you're hoping for the long term and you're also hoping for the appreciation. And that's the next thing as a realtor that we need to understand. We need to understand what is the appreciation value in the next 5, 10 years. What is the return? What is the cap rate? What is the cost of investment? What is the net? What's the gross? Okay. What is it going to cost me to run and operate this? Okay. We have to start educating ourselves in that because we have to put ourselves in that position. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we're advisors, right? So, how to evaluate funding offers, how to underwrite a proposal, for example, is another terminology just some people use. And how do you do that is basically understanding what is the property worth today. Take notes on this. What is the property worth today? What does the property cash flow at? And then what are the expenses that are combined with this? Okay. So the expenses are the lawn, the plumbing, the electrical, the roof, the wear and tear, the insurance, the taxes. Okay, maybe you're in an opportunity where it's a it's a home that you don't share or that you do share the electrical with everyone, you know what I mean? Or maybe it's a home that you don't share the electrical. Now the tenants can pay their own electrical or they can pay their own water, okay? Or maybe as a landlord, you now have to negotiate that. You own 3 properties, for example. The property 1, they pay their own water. Property 2, you pay the water. Property 3, you pay the lawn and the water because every situation is different, okay? So it's really going down and writing your numbers. And this is why it's essential when we work with our customers as well that we understand the numbers. And this is why this is why they look at us, okay? They look at us not just saying, oh, this is a pretty house, the rentals in the area are 5,000. No, it's the breakdown of everything. I understand that when I buy this property today, the taxes are going to be $3,000, but what's going to happen tomorrow when the new excess value comes in and I don't have homestead? Is it $6,000? So now when I was making $2,000 in profit, I'm now making $1,300 in profit, okay? So it's understanding that and spending some more time with that. And if you guys are interested, we can spend some time doing underwriting of some deals because I think it's very essential that we understand that, especially as top producers. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay. Another formula to diversify your money is your active income versus your passive income. So what is my active income? My active income is real estate. As I do real estate transactions, I'm going to continue to create active income. But at some point in time, I got to create some passive income. I got to be able to sit at home and know that my phone's going to ding on the 1st, or it's going to ding on the 15th, or it's going to ding on the 30th, and there's going to be some passive income that comes to me. And maybe that's through residual income on a rental property. Maybe that's a hedge fund that I'm a part of, and I get my dividends every single month. Maybe that's a crypto or stock that I'm able to work out and I get it sold at a certain percentage every single time. Or maybe I have an advisor that's advising my money. I have a financial planner that's working my money for me and they know where to put my money, where to move it to. Okay. And then maybe it's referrals. So a certain amount of referrals. And when we speak about referrals, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just speak about real estate referrals. We speak about referrals with our partners. As we know, our partners are the title company, the lenders, the inspectors, the plumber, the roofer, the HVAC people, where we can create those type of referrals. Or maybe referrals are through affiliations. Okay. Like for example, restaurants do affiliations, companies do affiliations, I use an affiliation with Big View. I have an affiliation with them where I get paid every single month because of people that have signed up through my Big View. I have my Opus AI, every single month I get paid through my Opus AI through the people that sign up through that, and then you have the actual referrals. Am I creating referral business in the space of real estate? Am I going out speaking to people in Texas, speaking to people in California, speaking to people in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut? Okay. So that I can create those referral networks because I know that John has a lot of people moving to Florida from New York and he's going to send them my way. Okay. Now, coaching and digital products. Okay. We understand that once we know something, are we now able to go and sell it to the public? Okay. So, for example, let's say, I had 20,000 buyers, but these buyers are not ready to purchase a home yet. Imagine if I created a digital product where I'm now able to sell them my kit to home buying for $5. Or maybe there's for sale by owners out there and they want to sell their homes on their own. And I want to sell them a kit for $20. Your kit's a for selling your home by owner. Okay. what digital product that I could be in the space of that I can possibly sell, okay, or what coaching affiliation that I can become a part of. Like, for example, can I create an affiliation opportunity with RedX, Mojo, where they pay me every time someone signs up? You know, what type of opportunities are there? Okay. So as business people, we have to start thinking about what are some ways to diversify in the space that I'm already in. You understand what I mean? So in the space that I'm already in, okay? Real estate investments, which is what we spoke a lot about, but basically just thinking outside the box. There's so many opportunities that are out there. There's referral partners with moving companies, staging companies. I see Crate and Barrel has a referral program, you know. There's so many opportunities out there, and how do those opportunities align with where my business model is? Okay. We spoke about this already. Automate online pipelines, affiliated partnerships, correct dividends and market investments, correct rental properties. Okay, got it. All right, let's open it up for some questions. You guys have been extremely quiet. I don't like talking to myself. Let's open it up for some questions, comments. Maybe you own a property already. Tell me, how's that going? What was the error that you made? Maybe you want to get into investments and you're excited about this conversation that we're having right here. Or maybe you're like, Jeff, honestly, I want to work till I'm 70 years old selling houses. Talk to me. Let me hear from you, Nicola, CJ, Kim, and anyone else that's in here.
Okay, so I have a question about the DSCR loan.
Mm-hmm. Those are amazing products. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking about using that product myself
Mm-hmm.
to to acquire some multifamily properties. Now, from my understanding, it is a no doc like product, correct? And
Correct.
I'm guessing as long as the number makes sense. I don't know what
The
the
rent, the
percentage
rent
of
must
yeah, the rent.
the rent must
Hmm.
supply the mortgage. Okay. So
Hmm.
as long as it makes sense, then you're good to go.
Okay. Okay.
So typically it
That,
requires 20% down,
hmm.
but it requires no income, no credit, none of that stuff.
Yeah. 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 That's one of the products that I'm going to be using soon.
Hello. Hello. That's a great product, brother. That's a great
Mm.
product. Anyone else? Comments from anyone else?
Yes, I'll jump in. This has been very eye-opening, Jeff. Thank you for sharing all of this. I am very interested in expanding my investment portfolio. Um, I have already started, but just as CJ mentioned just now, the DSCR loan is very interesting because working towards having that income, I would say, to support another investment property is one of the forefront goals that I have. So I'll also be looking at focusing on that in order to build my portfolio
Beautiful.
or
And
expand
if
my
you can't
portfolio
tap in,
more.
if you can't tap into a DSCR, don't just think about DSCR as your only way. Think of FHA conventional. You can do conventional at 3%. Okay, you could do a multifamily. So you have to look at your situation right now. What situation am I in right now? Do I rent? Do I ever own a property? If I don't own a property, maybe I can go buy a duplex. I can live in a duplex for 6 months. Okay, and then now I go and I buy a single family home, or I go and I buy a condo. Now I live in a condo for a year, then I go and buy something else. Okay, and then I go from a condo to a single family, or a single family to a townhome. Okay, and now I'm able to use my FHA conventional benefits. Okay, maybe I served in the military and I have VA power. So what I would do is, for example, I would do something like this. I would go from a duplex, okay, to a townhome, to a single family, all using the FHA power, because I can do that. As long as you're upsizing when it comes to FHA, you have the opportunity to do that. Okay. You go from one FHA property to another FHA, or maybe I want to go from duplex to duplex to duplex. Okay. The law states as long as it's in a different county. So let's say, for example, I own a duplex in Miami-Dade County, and I lived in there for a year. And then I went to Broward and I lived in that one for a year. Then I went to West Palm Beach and I lived in that one for a year. I can do that with the FHA quadrants. Okay. Or maybe I could do FHA on one property, then do conventional 3% down or 5% down on the next property. Okay. So there's opportunities like that. I would start interviewing my mortgage brokers and seeing. And I'm going to tell you this, not every mortgage broker is made for the individual. Not every mortgage broker is made for the individual. I was on the phone with a lender the other day and I had told him something. And he says, I don't think you can do that. And I said, I don't think you're the guy for me. Okay. Not saying that we're breaking the law, but we're getting creative. Okay. And something that you're not going to do, I know lenders out there that will do it. You're just not novice enough and knowledgeable enough to get me to the finish line. So we just on the line and that happens. Okay. So as you guys know, tools to always be successful is your CRM. I believe your CRM is the most powerful system that's out there. You can use a deal analyzer system if you want, or you can create your own investment calculators and budgeting apps. Budgeting apps are the best that's out there. Notion is one of them. There's so many other budgeting apps that's out there. So if you need help with budgeting, okay, a budgeting system will say, hey, how much money am I scheduled to make this year? How much money am I scheduled to make this month? Here are all my bills. Now break down all of my bills and what I'm going to have. And this is how we don't live paycheck to paycheck. This is how we don't live paycheck to paycheck. And ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, because we have it does not mean we need to spend it. Because we have it does not mean we need to spend it, okay? I would wait until you're able to do it without caring, then you can do that. And even at that time, you got to think twice, okay? So let's say, for example, there's something that you desperately need, and you have the money to do it. Maybe create a reward system. Hey, if I'm able to get 2 more deals, let me go do that. Or let me wait until the end of the year to do that. You know what I mean? Create those opportunities. Stop chasing income, start building wealth. Ooh, that was powerful. Stop chasing income. So what does that mean? Stop going after the next deal and think about, man, how can I own something else? You know, on my vision board for next year, I had written that we're going to up the investments that we're able to keep so that it can supply the opportunity for us to be in law school. So what does that mean? That means like from this point on, we want to buy 3 properties that we're able to hold. Okay. And I want to end on that. I want to end on having you guys all unmute yourselves and let us know what your investment goal is. My name is Mike. My investment goal is to own a property every single year for the next 2 years. Or my name is Jeffrey. My name is Paul, and I want to own 1 property in the next 5 years. Let us know. Talk to us, Joanne, Kim.
My name is Joanne, and my goal 2026 is to start owning property. I do own one now, but I want to definitely get into the fixing and flipping property. So starting next year, I'm eyeing something right now that I'm discussing with my contractor to see if it would be a good fit, like pricing and stuff. But definitely next year, I would like to be able to do 3.
There you go. The magic number 3. I love it. CJ, Kim, Nicola.
Well, for me, I, started a portfolio already. I do own an investment property. However, I definitely like to expand that, I would say within the next 3 years, 2 to 3 years to have another investment property.
That's good. Well, I know one thing for
Thank
sure.
you.
So we have Nicola is looking to get investment property. We have Joanne looking to get investment property, and we have CJ looking to get investment property. Hey, I mean, based on what Jeff is saying, maybe we can pull our funding together, and do some group
There,
deals.
there
You
you
know?
go. There you go. Someone's the
Yeah.
contractor, someone's the realtor, someone is the runner. You're gonna always need a runner. Someone always has to go to Home Depot. Someone
hmm
always needs to be on site, make sure the workers are working. Someone always needs to be able to find the workers, and someone has to be the agent to sell the property and advertise it and go find the deals.
Yeah.
So give us your 2026 goal, CJ.
2020. So as far as the investment goes, man, I would definitely definitely am going to work my hardest to see if I can acquire at least one quadplex. One a quadplex or a triplex is my goal for as an
Beautiful.
investment goal. Now
Beautiful.
the good thing about me, well, not good thing. One of my strengths, Joanne and Nicole, is the fact that I've actually done deals before where I've renovated homes and I mean from start to finish. So as far as like running the numbers, as far as like finding the contractors, I have experience in that. So that'll be something, that'll definitely, be a plus if we decide to do something in the future.
To be determined. Talk to us, Letitia and Tim and Kim.
I'm in the process of purchasing my first investment property, and I'm actually using HELOC
Nice.
and
Another
then
opportunity.
doing a DSCR loan um
Beautiful.
to purchase the property, and then the rest of the money, well, a percentage of the money that I'm using to renovate the property.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
that was one
Beautiful.
of my 2025 goals, and it's actually coming to fruition towards the end of the year, but at least I can say that, I did it. That was one goal accomplished, one major goal accomplished.
We're proud of you. We are proud of you. What's for 2026? Talk to us.
2026, I'm gonna be finishing the renovations and then rent it out by the middle of the year. And then be able to refinance and hopefully purchase something else. At least that's
I
the
love it.
goal for the end of the year.
I love it. I love it. Next person. I think it's Kim.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everybody. So for me, I am hoping to move into the luxury space and sell residential because there's a lot of luxury um, condos going up. So I wanted to get into that space. And then for 2026, I plan to start off with home buying workshops to increase, hopefully, more connection with buyers and sellers.
Beautiful. 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 All right, you guys. Anything else for the good of the order? Any comments or questions? I really love to see everyone take a quick moment and really, hang out with what do it look like in the next 12 to 24 months when it comes to like breaking into that new space that I want to be in, whatever space that is. What does that look like? What does that investment look like? What does the accounting look like? What does the breakdown look like? Because this is going to have us, y'all, save ourselves from misery. We all heard it when the market crashed. More than 50% of people went into sales. I mean, went into like a job, it went into a job. They got out of sales into a job. So we have to ensure that any market that we're in, we're not a part of that, having to leave real estate and go get a 9 to 5, that we can surpass that and we can overcome any situation, any market that we're in. But it's the activities that we do here today, and it's never too late. So I thank you guys for being here. Thank you for spending the time with me. Thank you for diving into investing so that it can create the future that we desire for our families and our friends and ourselves. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Jeff.
much.